Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today I want to share my thoughts on the character Kim Dale from the Netflix show The Dragon Prince. If you haven't seen The Dragon Prince, I recommend you go check it out, as it is a fantastic watch. Anyway, in the series, Kim Dale is known as the Blood Moon Huntress, who is basically like a vampire-esque figure in Xadia legend/lore. She uses blood to prolong her life and provide her with abilities and powers. And she gets blood by stabby stabby soul leave your body method, aka murder. So she is a bad guy, right? Murders people and drinks their blood. Certified bad guy, right? Well, with the latest season out, I have started to rethink that statement, especially with the scenes she has in the show. So before I dive in, I'm just saying this now that there will be major spoilers for season 5 talked about, so if you don't want to know, then go watch season 5 and come back. Or, don't, since you don't have to, and I can't really control what you do. Okay, on to the video. So to make more sense of this quote-unquote theory, because this is really just kind of a thought I have, more than a theory, I want to go back in time from where we are at the present time of the story in the show, to when Kim Dale still had her people. Kim Dale wasn't the only Moonshadow elf who used blood in her practice. There were others. They started this cult when the Archmoon dragon Luna Tenebris was Queen of Xadia. And from the info we got from Karim this season, it seems as though Luna Tenebris left the cult alone. It wasn't until the next ruler of Xadia, Avizandum, did the cult begin to get hunted and slaughtered for their practices, which then eventually led to Kim Dale being the last of her people left alive. Now hold on, okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, right here, okay? I'm obviously not saying that she's innocent in the way of, oh, she didn't kill nobody, and the cult was totally peaceful, and all that jazz. But it does beg the question that if the cult were so bad, so dangerous, then why didn't Luna Tenebris pursue them or do anything about them? Luna Tenebris was the dragon who exiled the humans for dark magic, a bad practice of magic, so why didn't she do so with the Blood Moon cult? Like, they were practicing supposedly bad magic, and you'd think she'd do something about that, because it's evil, but she didn't. Like I said, it was Avizandum who came after Luna that slaughtered the blood-drinking cult, but why? It makes me think that it was more Avizandum fearing that the elves of the cult would grow too powerful and rival with a dragon's strength, and so before that could happen, he took action and killed them. And honestly, that doesn't sound too unbelievable, since most dragons, Avizandum included, view elves and humans as lesser beings. Sol Ragam, the former king of the dragons, even flat out stated that he thinks humans are lesser beings in season 3. Also, Avizandum has killed for less, such as Queen Sarai and the Queens of Duran, when the humans came into Xadia to retrieve the heart of a titan. And they are heading back across the border, so they were leaving. Avizandum still killed them, even though they were retreating and leaving. Why? There was no cause, they were leaving. I get it, they killed the Titan, but I mean, you kill 3 of the queens? That doesn't really seem like a healthy response. Anyway, back to the point. Okay, so let's say Avizandum did kill the Malafir. Kim Dale is still far from innocent, right? Well, let's try to look at it from her point of view. Having your people being killed all around you, and eventually leaving you the last one alive. On top of that, the attacks seemingly came out of nowhere. Then being outcasted for your practices and shunned by your fellow elves. That will leave someone with a long life of loneliness and anger. Because Kim Dale, she's about over 300 years old now, so she's pretty old. It doesn't really surprise me that Kim Dale is the way she is, merciless and cold. In a way, I think Avizandum helped shape her into being who she is. Why should she show mercy if her own people weren't shown any? Another quick thing I'd like to add is a line from Claudia from season 5. She talks about how dragons are very egotistical, believing that they are higher than everything. And honestly, this was the one scene where I caught myself agreeing with Claudia for once. Imagine having to live like that, with powerful figures who believed they could do what they wished simply because they had the power to. Yet they talk about humans and elves being selfish and evil. Well, more humans than elves. But you get that picture, Like, for me, that would drive me insane. So I honestly don't blame Kim Dale for being how she is. Okay, now let's jump forward a bit to when Kim Dale is basically enslaved by the Sunfire Elves' queen, Aditi. She is stripped of her free will when it comes to being ordered around by Aditi and her bloodline. Now I like Queen Aditi a lot. From the info we have of her so far, she has been proven to be a strong, fair, wise, and kind queen that everyone praises her to be. Kim Dale sought Queen Aditi because she wanted to kill the well-known queen, but was in a way tricked and was binded to a magic collar-like chain that makes it so if Aditi's bloodline were to end, so would Kim Dale's life, as the binding around her neck would strangle her to death slowly. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that the Dragon Prince is a kids show? Yeah, right. I should also mention that Kim Dale begged Aditi for protection from the dragons as she was still being hunted. And actually, Aditi did give her protection through this magical binding. Another thing is that Queen Aditi, before putting the binding on Kim Dale, stated that, "I see a light in you, the potential of a young flame." Now, I don't think that Aditi would say that without purpose. I think Aditi truly believes that Kim Dale had the chance to be better, however small that chance or flame would be. I believe Aditi saw through Kim Dale's suffering and really did try to help her towards the light, and maybe she would have achieved that had it not been for her untimely demise. I find it interesting that only one person ever really gave Kim Dale a chance to be more. I really wish we could see what happened after Kim Dale got the news of Aditi's death. Was she beginning to change, or was she still just the same cruel elf? Since Queen Aditi's death happened a long time ago before the present timeline in the show, which in turn is a long time for someone to change, from worse to better, or from better to worse. I see Kim Dale's blood drinking as a sort of addiction, believing she needs it to live to survive, but I also believe she does it out of fear. Fear of not being strong enough for the world who is out to get her. I know this is a pretty sympathetic view of the Huntress, but it might be true. Like I said, I wish we get more info on her in the next season, as she's most likely going to come back into play. So, question stands. Is Kim Dale innocent? No, she is not. As Queen Aditi said, your hands will take generations to clean. She has committed so many crimes. But I also believe that she wasn't always like this, and instead was molded and made into who she is now thanks to her sufferings. Also, real quick, I gotta add that I really want more scenes/mentions of Queen Aditi and Kim Dale, mainly because I think there's so much that could have been explored with Kim Dale's possible way forward that is brighter. I don't know. But in the short story that they shared, I was really interested in their dynamic. And maybe saw a little bit of tension between them. What kind of tension? I'm not going to say.
The word I'm searching for, I can't say, because there's preschool toys present.
But regardless, I hope for more Kim Dale in the future. I just really like her. I find her really cool and just so enamoring. Like, she just kind of brings me towards her. Like, I don't know why. It's just because there's so much mystery to her, maybe. Like, I just want to know more about her. And she has such a cool concept design. Like, I mean, look at her design. It's so cool, badass, dangerous, a little scary, and just, oh my gosh, pretty too. But I'll stop my rambling, as that concludes the video about Kim Dale. Maybe I'll revisit this quote-unquote theory once the final season airs, which won't be for another few years, probably, maybe even more, depends. Tell me what you think of Kim Dale. Do you like her? What do you think is her part to play in the story going forward, as she's still out there? And I highly doubt the writers would bring her in for this small moment and just kind of leave her alone after that. I don't know, there's something build up happening there. And of course, the last question, do you have a crush on her? What? I didn't say anything. Why would I say something like that? Dear Lord, there's something wrong with me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and with that, I'll see you all later.